Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. You're watching Unbiased Magic Reviews, the most objective magic review channel here on YouTube. Today I have another workers review for you guys. If you don't remember, this series centers on effects that I hand select, effects that have stood the test of time and that I'm recommending that you guys take a look at. Many of these have become part of my everyday carry. Today I am taking a look at the effect called Right by Ran Pink. This was put out on his project that he did with Andrew Gerard called Conscious Magic Episode 4, which you can pick up from your favorite magic dealer for around $35. As usual, as per this series, I'm going to show you guys a live performance of my own. I either demo the effect or I actually show you guys the live performance, and then I'm going to go over all of the details of this. This is an excellent effect for an opener or for an icebreaker, and we're going to get into those details shortly, but let's take a look at my own live performance of this, and then we'll get into that in a moment. Got something here for you, okay? Give you a chance that you can win a little something, okay? All right. Now, do you believe that your decisions are your own or that you're influenced by things?
I mean, to some extent, we're influenced.
Right, exactly. So look, I've written a number in the back here. Read that out loud.
746121.
Okay, very good. Right. Here's what we're going to do. I want you to put this in one of your hands behind your back. Right. All right. Hide it in one of your hands behind your back, like this.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yep. Yeah. In any hand. I won't look. I won't look. I won't cheat. All right. It doesn't matter anyway, because here's why. Think of a number like from 1 to 10 and pass it back and forth that many times.
Is this?
Go ahead, do it. Pass it back and forth between your hands as many times as you've had in your number, right? And then when you're done, let me know. Now you have to admit, I have no idea how many times you've passed it back and forth, right?
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't know that, right? Just to make it even more interesting, think of somebody who's close to you that I have no idea who they are, and think of their first name and pass it again that many times back and forth based on the amount of letters in their first name. All right? All right. Well, he's real quiet. I like that. That's good, right? No way for me to know here, right?
Right.
All right. Now, let's try this. If it's in your left hand, pass it spelling left. If it's in your right hand, pass it back and forth spelling the word right. And then let me know when you get done doing that.
Okay.
Good? All right. And when you get home, you might think like, you know, hey, what if I had passed it one more time? So let's do this. Pass it one more time. Pass it one more time, and then bring your hands out like this, so that way with them closed so we don't know where it is, okay? All right, now here's what you have to think about, right? I asked him earlier if he thought that I could influence him. Yeah. Do you think I influenced him? Maybe, maybe not. He doesn't think so. He thinks he really had free choice, right?
Right.
Didn't he? All right, check this out. I think it's in here. Am I right? Now here's the thing that's really weird about this, Jeff, is that, look, I gave you a chance to win something, but remember the number I told you about? I told you I was going to influence you with the number. Look at what the number says. Read it. It says right.
Oh, my God.
So you didn't even notice that, did you?
No.
All right, you guys listened to my live performance of this effect, and that actually was recorded a couple of years ago because I've been performing this effect for almost 4 years now. In fact, I've been planning on doing this workers review for about 2 years now, which is really crazy. And this really has become part of my everyday carry because it packs super flat. All you have to do is carry it in your wallet and you are ready to go. I've changed the presentation a little bit over the years. I really like to present this as an opportunity for the spectator to win some money. When I say that and I take out the $100 bill, that gets extreme interest. People suddenly, they get really excited, they get into it, and especially if there's a lot of people around watching, they all really get into it, especially when they see $100 bill come out. They all get really excited at that point. Now, this mental effect is very, very simple to understand. You're going to explain to the spectator that you're going to try to influence them. You show them a number on the back of the bill. You have them read it. You fold up the bill. You tell them to hide the bill in one of their hands as you turn around. Seemingly, they get to make all the decisions. They're passing the bill from hand to hand based on their own decisions. But at the end of the effect, you're able to tell them which hand the bill is in. And then the kicker is that when you show them that they were influenced, by having them turn the bill upside down and read the numbers, which now they can see that it spells the word right. So you have influenced their decision, and at that point you're going to get really strong reaction out of them. That really is the effect, and it has some really nice little things about it which make it really strong. So what I really like about the effect is that it starts out almost like a challenge effect. You're kind of challenge them in terms of they're going to try to hide the bill and you're going to try to figure out where it is. The idea that if you don't get it, that they get to keep the bill. And that's what gets a lot of interest really quickly. And then at that moment, after you're able to tell them where the bill is, they immediately try to figure out how you knew that. But before they even get that chance to try to figure that out, you give them that pseudo explanation that you influenced them from the beginning with that number. And obviously the explanation is kind of silly, but it really does fly because people, they accept it. And the best way to explain this is if I were to vanish something in my hand and it reappears behind a window somewhere, you know it's not the same object. But the person's brain stops looking for the original object because it reappeared, even though clearly, logically, it is not the same object. But that's how human psychology works. In this effect, it's exactly the same thing, because once you give them that pseudo explanation, they get a real reaction out of that because they realize, oh wow, that's so clever, I was really influenced. They really just accept it, which is kind of funny in a way. Now, over the years, I've actually changed things because I've added another kicker on top of that myself, which you may like yourself too, which is that I'm actually not really using a real $100 bill. I'm using prop money. It looks real, and up close it looks real too. But the funny part is at the very end of the performance, I tell the spectator, oh, don't feel bad, you really wouldn't want to win that. And they look at me like I'm crazy. And then I'm like, no, take a close look at it. Like, read what it says on the top. And when they read here that it says, for motion picture purposes, they get a real laugh out of that. They get a real laugh because they realize that it's not real money. And even though it looks like real money, and you probably could pass this off as real money, which is really kind of funny in a way. But I found that that gets even another reaction, a strong reaction. People really get into it. And then when you're done with this effect, they're going to want to see more. They're all going to be drawn in. Now you've got their interest, which is why this is such a good effect as an opener. So let's get into a couple of questions you probably have about this, and then I'm just going to give you some final thoughts. So the first thing you're probably wondering is, how difficult is this to perform? And this is practically self-working. There is no sleight of hand. I guess it's semi-self-working because you have to follow a simple script. In terms of the inspectability, it can be completely inspected. In fact, sometimes I will just give the bill to the person when I'm done and let them just say, you can just take it home with you. You can have it if you want it. That way they remember you, especially if you are using prop money or fake money, then who cares? I just give it away for fun. But that's the nice thing about that. Of course, it's 100% inspectable by the end, even really pretty much in the beginning if you wanted to, but it's going to go right into their hands anyway. The reset on this is instant, so you can immediately go and just perform it for the next group of people if you want to. In terms of the angles, there's no angle issues, but I would recommend that when you perform it, you turn your back a little bit, so that way the spectator doesn't think that somehow you saw which hand it went into. And for those people that do like to do which hand type effects, I would urge you to use this as a way to practice your way of gauging a person's body language, because it's funny, you've probably heard the expression the nose knows in terms of like which hand effects. It really is true. I found that more often than not, when I do this effect for people, they really do tip off which hand the bill is in with their body language, especially with that whole notion of the nose. You will notice that they do turn their head slightly in that direction, which is hilarious, because if you perform any other which hand effect that relies on body language, then again, this is a good effect you can use to practice for those types of effects. And then finally, what are like the negatives of this effect? I'd say the only real negative is that it's only a one phase which hand effect. But since once that part's done and you just go right into the next part, which is that your pseudo explanation, people they never really dwell on it. So it's not a big deal because literally it's a 50-50 really. But like I said, people don't really dwell on it because you're immediately going to that climax kicker, which is, I actually really influenced you. And I think that's what makes the effect so strong, is that you influenced them from the beginning and they didn't realize it. That is the real effect here, and that is what really drives this home as a real worker. The whole effect literally will take you like a minute and a half to perform, as you saw in my own live performance of this, although you can use it any way that you like. So those are probably the questions that you guys have about this, and I can't stress that this effect has been a real worker for me because I've performed it so many times I've lost count, because this is just an ever reliable effect, ready to go. It packs super flat and plays immense for a huge amount of people, or even for just one-on-one. Anyway, if you are into mentalism and just magic in general, I think you're going to absolutely love this effect, which is why this gets my highest recommendation. I would recommend, if this sounds like something you're interested in, you should just go and pick it up. I think you're going to really like it a lot. As usual, if you guys have any questions or comments, just leave them for me below. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning into my magic reviews, and this has been another Workers Review. I'll see you guys on the next one.